after 2 o'clock. Whether you scratch or just like getting out with your buddies, you have to try the new Cimarron Golf Club on 210.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
So much so that I had to ask around. I'm like, hey, I'm kind of a nice guy, right?
Hacker is an ass.
I try, as I'm getting into my old age at 39 years old, try not to let things bother me. Just know that I'm ultra soft.
And he doesn't shy away from opinions.
See Baker Mayfield throw 4 passes, but I get to see this homeless guy return a ball for a touchdown.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Monday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Monday that, it's been tough here in the city of Jacksonville after the Jacksonville Jaguars absolutely get destroyed yesterday at the hands of the San Francisco 49ers. I certainly have a lot of thoughts on that I will share with you in a moment. If you have any thoughts you'd like to share with me, text line is open, 641-1010. Might even squeeze in a phone call or two here in the opening segment if you want to get on board, 641-1010. Guest lineup looks like this. In about 20 minutes, actually probably about 15 minutes, Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com. We will recap the best we can, whatever that was yesterday, and we will look ahead to a big game against the Tennessee Titans coming up on Sunday. So Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com. Also at the top of the 9 o'clock hour, it is Monday Night Coaching here on Hacker After Dark every Monday with Dave Campo. My friend Dave Campo, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He will stop by at about 9 o'clock this evening. But as we do every night to kick it off here on Hacker After Dark, we give you a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
You know, I often talk about in the off season how June, July, August are the months of hope and optimism. Sometimes, though, hope and optimism can spread into September and even October. And that's where the Jaguars were, man. There was a lot of hope. There was a lot of optimism as recently as about 30 hours ago. But at a certain point, reality will slap you in the face. For some NFL teams, that happens week 1. For some NFL teams, that might happen week 5 or week 6. For the Jacksonville Jaguars, it appears reality slapped them in the face on Sunday, November 12th at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That was awful yesterday. That was a good old-fashioned butt kicking. There was, no, the officials did this to us, or maybe if this happened, the game would have been different, a bounce here, a bounce there. No. No. None of that. That was San Francisco coming into your house, taking your lunch money, and absolutely punching you in the face, and then laughing about it, walking back to their locker room. That was an annihilation. And unfortunately, it might be reality. Now, teams get blown out, right? The Miami Dolphins got blown out this year at the hands of the Buffalo Bills. Cincinnati has been blown out this year at the hands of the Tennessee Titans, of all teams. Good teams can get blown out. It's not getting blown out, it's how you respond. And we will see how the Jaguars respond, how they will get off the mat with 2 just crucial home games, or 2 divisional games, 1 at home, 1 on the road coming up over the next 2 Sundays, beginning this Sunday with the hated Tennessee Titans. But for anybody that thinks Jacksonville belongs in the conversation of the best teams in the league, that was probably put to bed, at least for now, yesterday afternoon. I said this on the fifth quarter last night. Kansas City may lose at home from time to time, but they're not going to lose by 31 at home. Philadelphia, could they potentially lose in Philly right now? Yeah, they could. I don't think they're going to lose by 31. Cincinnati lost a home game yesterday, right? But it was on the last play of the game. You're not going to see Joe Burrow lose by 31 in his home stadium. Buffalo, same thing. Lamar Jackson's not going to lose in Baltimore by 31. If you want to be considered one of the best teams in the league, it's okay to lose at home, but you can't lose like that. You can't come in and just get completely, dissected. Sometimes the offense can blame the defense. Sometimes the defense can blame the offense for a loss. Well, yesterday it was everybody. The defense couldn't stop them. The offense couldn't do anything against them. It got so bad that Sam Darnold came into the game. Sam Darnold might as well have been a preseason football game for the 49ers. I heard Baselli this morning on the drill, and I thought he said something that is very true, and I'm happy that he said it. He said, you play long enough in this league, sometimes you're going to get your ass whipped. And that's exactly what happened to the Jaguars yesterday. Now, there's one or two roads you can go down here now. The first road is woe is me. You start changing things, you start panicking, you compound the problem, and all of a sudden, losses are accumulating and the season gets away from you. Or you can get back to work. And that's all the Jaguars can do after yesterday. That's all they can do, man. Yeah, you can talk about it hurting and being embarrassing, and that's great and wonderful. And Trevor can go out there and say it was his worst performance of his career, and that's all terrific. But you got to get back to work. You got to figure out what happened and how not to let it happen again. And you got to flush it pretty quick come Wednesday. Because you want to talk about a desperate team. Remember the word desperate last week with the 49ers? I don't know if Tennessee's desperate, but Tennessee would love, after what the Jaguars did to them last year, Mike Vrabel and the Titans would love to compound the Jaguar problems even further this Sunday. The reality is, right now, the Jaguars are not one of the best teams in the NFL. They can't be. And there's no argument for them. Good teams, and certainly great teams, do not get flat out embarrassed at home once, nevertheless, twice in a season. Yesterday was the second time in only 4 games, mind you, the Jacksonville Jaguars were embarrassed on their home field. Houston a few weeks ago, and San Francisco yesterday. The question now, based on the makeup of this team, and we know what it is, they were 4-8 last year. They came back to win 5 straight to get into the playoffs. They were down 27 to the Chargers. They came back to win that game, the third biggest comeback in the history of the NFL postseason. We know there's character in that locker room. We know that there's fight and grit in that locker room, and they got to show it again. Because yesterday was as bad as it gets. Again, another team came in here and just flat out humiliated you. I've done my best to not watch any of the national coverage today. I've seen little excerpts. The Jaguars are the laughingstock of the league right now. They are the brunt of jokes. And there's nothing you can do to defend them. People want to take shots at Trevor, take shots at the team. There's nothing that can be said after yesterday. All you can do is get back to work, beat Tennessee, beat a good Houston team, which that's going to be a huge game, and get to 8-3 when Cincinnati comes in here on Monday Night Football. And if you're 8-3 and you win 2 in a row when the Bengals come in here for Monday Night Football in December, this San Francisco game will be easily forgotten. If you don't, and you let this loss linger and you say, woe is me, the season could get away from you pretty quick. And we're going to find out what happens very quickly beginning this Sunday when the Tennessee Titans roll into town. Jaguar head coach Doug Peterson met the media earlier today. He had a lot to say, and he started out by talking about how he's handling the blowout loss when he talks to the players here in Jacksonville this week.
I want them to watch the film. I want them to make the corrections. They need to see it. I challenge them to be critical of their performance, good and bad, and then take the constructive criticism that the coach might have. It's the only way we can continue to get better. It's disappointing that, really both sides of the ball. I thought special teams was decent, probably the one bright spot, but offense and defense just did not play our best. And it's a head scratcher.
The Jaguar offense is broken, by the way. They're not very good right now. I mean, for all the talk about Trevor Lawrence, and Trevor Lawrence to me I'm very happy he's the Jaguar quarterback. But I'm a numbers guy, and his numbers are awful. He's got 9 touchdown passes in 9 games. 9 touchdown passes in 9 games. Yesterday, a couple of picks. Just bad. Fumbled the ball again. Offensive line couldn't block anybody. What is wrong with the Jaguar offense? The offense that at training camp we thought was going to be so dynamic. They've scored 1 offensive touchdown in the last 8 quarters. They only scored 1 offensive touchdown in Pittsburgh. They did not find the end zone yesterday. Doug Peterson, how do you get your offense on track moving forward?
It's been there. It's been on track at times. It just comes down to, the preparation. I talk to the guys all the time about their preparation when they're outside of this building. What are they doing a little extra? Are they studying, extra tape? Are they looking at every cut up of a certain route or coverage or defensive front blitz, whatever it might be, just to stay sharp and stay up on what they could possibly see during a game. And it's plays that we're now recycling because we're so far along that you just recycle plays. So it's not anything new that we're trying to invent or create. It just comes down to each person just owning that responsibility.
Finally, the word panic was brought up at the press conference earlier today. Is there panic on the team? I don't know if the word panic is the right one. I don't sense there's panic in the fan base. I sense there's anger. I think Jaguar fans are angry. When you defend this team to your friends out of the city and you hear the national folks like Richard Sherman and Chris Broussard bashing you after a 6-2 start and you defend them to the hills. I mean, I've gone on many out-of-market radio interviews in Kansas City, Louisville, Buffalo even. You got to defend this team. And then they go out and they do that yesterday. I mean, good grief, man. How dumb does that make us look? How dumb does that make me look? When I'm on all these radio stations defending what they're doing here in Jacksonville. So I don't sense it's panic. I sense it's anger. I sense it's frustration. But Doug Peterson was asked today, is there any panic on this team right now?
No, I mean, there's still no panic. I mean, I think if you panic, then you've almost sort of waved the white flag a little bit, but this is what I want our team to understand is you're still sitting in first place. Everything's right here in front of you. You control it. You've put yourself in a good situation, obviously. And if we can just eliminate or even minimize some of these mistakes that we're making and shooting ourselves in the foot, as we say, then it puts you in a better position to get into the fourth quarter and potentially, win games.
That is right. They are in first place in the division. If the playoffs started today, they'd be the 3 seed. That was what was ironic yesterday. They started the day as the 3 seed in the AFC. They finished the day as the 3 seed in the AFC. So they didn't lose any ground in the conference. Now they lost the lead in the division. Houston is now within 1 game, which that's a complicated deal because they already have a win over you, so you need to win in Houston. That'll be a conversation, obviously, for next week. These next 2 games, Tennessee at home, Houston on the road, are vital. But you started at 3rd in the AFC yesterday. You're still 3rd. Everything's right in front of you. That's what I said. You got to flush yesterday as quick as you can and move on. It's a learning experience, a tough learning experience. And hopefully, hopefully you don't see San Francisco again for a few years. You wouldn't see him again unless it's the Super Bowl, right? But that San Francisco team, that's a terrible matchup for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Absolutely terrible. Monday Night Football is underway. Wow, the first play of the game, Buffalo has fumbled it. It looks like Denver has recovered. Let's go to the tape. Let's see if a ball is out.
It's out.
It is definitely out. That looks like a fumble. So Denver has a turnover on the opening play of the game as they'll have it deep in Buffalo territory. We will keep you updated. More on the Jaguars, more on the National Football League. Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com. He doesn't sugarcoat a whole lot. That's what I like about Brian, man. He'll kind of tell you what he thinks. And we'll get his opinion on what the heck that was yesterday and how the Jaguars move forward and try to erase that 31-point beating. Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com. Next on a Monday night edition of Hacker After Dark with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
He's got an analytical eye and a country state of mind.
Their approach is always going to be they're going to mix in man coverage because that's what they do.
Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Logan on Jaguars Today is brought to you by Mr. Sparky of the First Coast on 1010XL.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it. They do it, whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
This holiday season, sit back and enjoy your time with family and friends. But if you have relatives who always point out the stains in your garage, or friends who talk about the cracks in your patio, we're here to help. Shark Coatings can coat your garage, patio, or driveway before those folks come over for holiday dinner. So now, instead of politics and religion, you can talk about how Shark Coatings transformed your home before the pumpkin pie is served. Shark Coatings, we're ready when you are.
Hey babes, the toilet is running.
Really? Oh, where's it going?
Well, Mr. Funny Man, it's going to our water bill, increasing our monthly costs, which are already sky high. Not to mention the absolute waste of water.
Yeah, okay then. I'll call Duck Rooter.
Toilet running? Clogged drain or leaky faucet? We have your solution. Duck Rooter, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. 904-862-6769.
Life isn't the same without live music. Good thing Players Girl Mandarin hosts the George Aspinall Band this Saturday at 7 p.m. From Buffett to blues, country to rock, jam out with this local band and enjoy delicious food. Players Girl Mandarin, where the neighborhood meets.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On November 13th, 2014, Dodgers Clayton Kershaw and Angels Mike Trout win the MVP awards for their respective leagues.
1010XL is a proud sponsor of Operation New Uniform's 10th Annual Heroes Gala, featuring retired Army Lieutenant Colonel and former Congressman Alan West. Saturday, December 2nd at Sawgrass Marriott. Operation New Uniform is a free, life-changing program that helped me, David Trenholm, successfully transition from a 20-year career in the United States Navy to the business world. Join 1010XL and sponsor Operation New Uniform's 10th Annual Heroes Gala today. Go to onuvets.org. That's onuvets.org today.
The year is almost over. Do you need cash for the holidays or want to be credit card debt-free for the new year? Call Loan Pronto today. Their Express Equity line of credit can get you $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 in as little as 5 days. Listen, if you have a ton of equity in your house and Loan Pronto can help you turn that equity into cash, you can access up to 95% of your home's value. Use the money to pay off all your credit cards, pay off personal loans, or start that home improvement project. You can get the money you need now and still keep your primary mortgage intact. So your 3% rate, it's protected. And with Loan Pronto's Express Equity Line program, 90% of the time, there's no need for an appraisal. So you can get your money super fast. Get the holiday cash you need or pay off all those credit cards before the new year. Get yourself on solid financial footing before the year ends and call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
To be our best selves, we need to take care of our whole self. That includes your spirit, mind, and your body. At the First Coast YMCA, our members find balance in spirit, mind, and body with unlimited group exercise classes, adult sports league, health coaching, and programs designed for chronic disease prevention. And when the Jaguars win, you win. We're waiving the joining fee the day after a Jaguars win, all season long. Use promo code DUVAL or visit the First Coast YMCA near you and find your why at fcymca.org.
It's a popular gift idea, perfect for your home or work environment. Mystic Cornhole Company builds custom, high-quality boards right here in Jax. Visit their shop on Parental Home Road or check out some designs at mysticcornholecompany.com.
Hey sports fans, it's Hayes Carline for QC Kinetics. Look, are you sick and tired of living with that constant pain in your knees and back? Joint pain doesn't just keep you from doing what you love, it affects your job, your relationships, even simple things like getting dressed. It's time to call QC Kinetics. They've got 2 great locations here, Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. And look, you can get in. They have appointments available right now. This week, call them at 904-274-5522. You got to give them a chance. Hips, shoulders, elbows, they can treat everything with natural biologics from your own body. Powerful healing agents, highly concentrated. If you're tired of steroid shots that don't work, or if you're trying to avoid surgery, call QC Kinetics now to schedule your free consultation. Learn more about these exciting new cutting-edge treatments. Again, 904-274-5522. That's QC Kinetics.
Don't miss Provember at Lowe's. Save $80 on a DeWalt Combo Kit and save $20 on a 5-gallon pail of HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams All-Purpose Power Primer. Plus, MVP's members earn 3 times the bonus points on DeWalt and HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams products. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Bonus points calculated before tax and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 11/22, subject to change.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. It is a Monday evening, and we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars fall to the San Francisco 49ers 34-3. Certainly a tough day at the office. They got to get over it quick, though. They got 2 crucial division games coming up, including this Sunday against the Tennessee Titans. With that, let me welcome in my friend Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com. He's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Brian, how you doing?
Well, I'm okay. I'm a little surprised, to be honest with you. 30 years of doing this, I think maybe I get a sense of when a team isn't ready to play, isn't prepared. I mean, I shouldn't say that. They were prepared, but they weren't ready, I don't think. And so I'm still a little stunned, like a lot of people are, to have seen that performance. To have lost to San Francisco, not a crime. They're an excellent football team. But to lose like that, that's the part I'm still trying to kind of grapple with.
No, I agree. And look, Leon Searcy said it last night on the postgame show. I heard Baselli say it this morning on 1010XL. Look, you do this long enough, sometimes you're just going to get your butt kicked. And you can either respond to it one of 2 ways. You can say, woe is me, and try to change everything and get in an even deeper hole, or you can do something about it and go back to work. And hopefully that's the approach the Jaguars are going to take.
Well, they better, because, the next 2 weeks decide the division. In fact, I'm billing the Texans game in Houston in 2 weeks as the division title game. You win the next 2, you go to 4-1 in the division with the Titans at the very end of the season. You got it, right? You got this thing. You'll be 8-3. You'll love where you're at. You won't even remember today until you look back on it after this season is done. The next 2 get you to the first goal that you set for yourself, which was to win the division title and host a home playoff game. And as of right now, that's what the Jaguars would do. So the next 2 can go a long way towards eliminating the stench of what yesterday was.
Brian, it's unfortunate, too, and it sucks, quite frankly, because the national folks have a good time, ripping the Jaguars and for whatever reason. And they're going after Trevor today, and it's kind of hard to defend Trevor because of how poorly he played, it's kind of hard to argue against them today. And even Trevor said, look, might be the worst game of his career yesterday. When you watched Trevor Lawrence yesterday, what were your thoughts, and what do you think how he'll respond moving forward?
Well, in defense of him, he never got a chance to set his feet. You know, I wouldn't say never, but there were a few instances, and that's it. And then it seemed as if he held the ball too long. And I thought maybe the play that best defined the day was when he was flushed out of the pocket by Joey Bosa, and he threw the ball, you know, on a rope to Tank Bigsby. And, of course, Bigsby didn't catch it, and it was an interception. And really the play there is you can see Bigsby's 5 yards shy of the sticks. There's no way, even if he catches it, he gets the first down. The play there is to take the sack, punt, and live to fight another day, not to give them the ball near midfield. So, you know, it just, yeah, I mean, he's not an elite quarterback yet. He shows us the signs of that, and we think he's progressing towards that, and he's still not quite there. That in no way, shape, or form, Ryan, means he's not going to get there. And I would ask everybody who thinks that this morning is to go look at the course of Peyton Manning's first 5 years in the NFL. And there was up and down before he got to where he became an elite quarterback with all of the credentials that he went into the Hall of Fame with. Again, not making the comparison to say he's going to do exactly what Manning did, but it takes some quarterbacks a little bit longer. And, of course, it's not helping that C.J. Stroud is, you know, looking like Ben Roethlisberger and on a great run in his rookie season. But not everything can be compared apples to apples. He didn't play well yesterday. He's got the chance to come back and play well. And let's not forget, when they went on that run at the end of last year, he was playing at a very high level. He's capable of it. He's just got to get it going.
Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com. Brian, I agree with you. Trevor was running for his life yesterday in large part. And look, I mean, Walker Little hadn't played in a while. It was the first time, really, the Jaguars have had the offensive line they envisioned, right? Robinson, Little, Fortner, Sheriff, and Harrison. And good gracious, Brian, probably the worst day at the office for that line this year.
Yeah, and if you want to say anything, to their favor, it's that it was the first time they were playing together, and they didn't communicate very well against. Look, that defensive line of San Francisco had $202 million guaranteed against it before they traded for Chase Young, and then they traded Chase, and they attacked, and they're really good. And you're never defined by your worst day. And so they're not that bad. But, man, they played very poorly yesterday. And so that's what they have to deal with. I expect they'll come out. They got a big challenge this week. I think Jeffrey Simmons is as good a defensive tackle as there is in football, right? I mean, if you think Chris Jones is the best in the AFC, watch Jeffrey Simmons. He is a beast. And last year, he was playing on a bum ankle. And they move him around, and they find matchups for him. You better be ready this week, because this guy can make you look silly.
Brian, you're a Jaguar encyclopedia, and I'm curious if you can ever remember in the almost 30-year history of this franchise, a situation where they're so good on the road or in London, and they've played so poorly here in Jacksonville. I mean, it's striking. Their 3 worst performances by far have been right here in Duval County, and yet they're unbeatable on the road. Can you put your finger on that?
No, I can't, and no, there's – to my knowledge, there has not been a stretch where the Jaguars were bad at home and good on the road. Generally, when they've been bad at home, they've been bad on the road. It's unusual. Of course, when you look at yesterday's game, that's the 49ers. I mean, they are really good. Now, they're a front-running team. If you let them punch you in the mouth and build a lead, they're hard to beat. And, of course, the Jaguars took 4 body blows. 2 were from scoring drives by the 49ers, and 2 were 3 and outs by the offense. And from that point, they just couldn't get back up on their feet. I don't know. I thought they played pretty well against Kansas City on defense. They didn't on offense. They didn't play well in any phase against the Texans, and not really in any phase, although special teams gave them a couple of things yesterday that the coach mentioned in his press conference this afternoon. I don't know. I don't think anybody has a knock on it, because when the Texans came in, it's not like you said, well, man, these are the Texans. You said, no, the Texans were the rookie quarterback, and they played bad. Then you said, well, these are the Niners coming across the country at 10 o'clock start their time. They've lost 3 in a row. You got 2 in a row that are stinkers. You better end it this week.
It's a big game this week. Really, like you said, the next 2 games are gigantic. As far as the offense goes, there are clear problems, right? Now, I don't know if they're as a result of some injuries. Obviously, you mentioned the offensive line. The first game really yesterday as a cohesive unit. Zay Jones, I think they miss him in the passing game. I wonder what that will do for Ridley, Kirk, and Ingram once Zay gets back out there. But, Brian, clearly the offense 9 games in is not what we thought it was in training camp.
I think the problem is they can't run the ball, right? And it's not that Travis Etienne hasn't made big plays for them, but running the ball isn't about the number of yards that you have at the end of the day or even the yard per carry average that shows up on the stat sheet, Ryan. Running the ball is about being able to put